Humble beginnings in Flint, Michigan. Claressa Shields was born on March 17, 1995, in Flint, Michigan, a city known for its economic struggles, high crime rate, and the devastating water crisis that would later bring it national attention. Life in Flint was far from easy. Growing up in a broken household, with her father in and out of prison and her mother battling addiction, Claressa was surrounded by instability from a young age. But even in a city that often felt forgotten by the rest of the world, Claressa refused to be defined by her environment. At the age of 11, she walked into a boxing gym for the first time, dragged along by her father, who had once boxed himself while in prison. What started as curiosity quickly turned into obsession. She found peace in the ring. Unlike the chaos of the streets, boxing gave her structure, focus, and a sense of purpose. Every punch she threw was a step away from poverty, trauma, and the limitations others placed on her. While other kids her age were falling into bad habits, Claressa was waking up before school to train, running in the snow, punching through pain. She was mocked for being a girl in a male-dominated gym, but she didn't care. "They told me girls couldn't box. I said, watch me," she would later say. Flint may have been her starting point, but it was never her finish line. The same city that tried to break her became the fuel for her fight. Her roots in Flint didn't just make her tough, they made her unbreakable. And from that broken place, a champion was born. First American woman to win Olympic gold in boxing in 2012, the Olympic Games in London made history. Not just for the world, but for Claressa Shields. That year, women's boxing was introduced to the Olympics for the very first time, and Claressa, only 17 years old, stepped into the ring representing the United States. She wasn't just fighting for a medal, she was fighting for every young girl who was told, boxing isn't for you. Despite being the youngest boxer on Team USA, Claressa fought with the heart of a warrior and the hunger of someone who had been underestimated her entire life. She wasn't polished, she wasn't a media darling, but she was fearless. Every jab, every uppercut, every move was precise, powerful, and personal. She wasn't just winning rounds, she was making a statement. Claressa powered through the competition with unmatched determination, and on August 9, 2012, she made history by becoming the first American woman to win Olympic gold in boxing. It was more than a victory, it was a revolution. She had shattered a glass ceiling with her fists and forced the world to look at female athletes with new respect. Back home in Flint, her gold medal became a symbol of hope. In a city plagued by crisis, here was a young black girl who proved that dreams could still be born and realized, no matter where you came from. She didn't have a fancy gym. She didn't have big sponsorships. What she had was grit, and that grit changed everything. The world saw a champion. Claressa saw the beginning, because for her, one gold medal wasn't enough. She knew she was built for greatness, and she was just getting started. Overcoming abuse and trauma, Claressa Shields' journey to greatness wasn't forged only through competition. It was shaped by adversity, pain, and a fierce refusal to give up. Growing up in Flint, Michigan, Claressa faced unimaginable challenges at a young age. Her household was unstable. Her father, once a promising boxer himself, was incarcerated for much of her early life. Her mother battled personal struggles that left young Claressa without the support every child deserves. She often had to fend for herself, navigating a world of uncertainty, hardship, and emotional pain. But what could have broken her instead built her. Claressa found solace and strength in the unlikeliest of places. A boxing gym. There, surrounded by punching bags and determination, she discovered something powerful. A sense of control, purpose, and healing. The boxing ring became more than a training ground. It was her escape, her therapy, and eventually her stage. She turned emotional wounds into fuel. Every morning run, every tough sparring session, every moment of discipline was a step forward, a rejection of victimhood, and an embrace of her true potential. Claressa never asked for pity. She fought for power, for respect, and for her own sense of peace. As her star rose, she didn't hide from her past. She spoke openly about the obstacles she faced, not for shock value, but to inspire. Her story is one of courage. The courage to confront pain, the courage to speak truth, and the courage to rise above. Claressa Shields is a reminder that we are not defined by what happens to us, but by how we respond. She turned hardship into history. And through it all, she became a beacon of hope for anyone who's ever felt unseen, unheard, or underestimated. Undefeated champion across multiple weight classes, Claressa Shields isn't just a champion, she's a once-in-a-generation athlete, a living symbol of what's possible when talent meets relentless determination. After dominating the amateur boxing world with 2 Olympic gold medals, she made a bold move, stepping into the professional ring. Many athletes struggle with the transition from amateur to pro. The pace changes, the competition is tougher, the spotlight is hotter. But for Claressa, the move wasn't a risk. It was the next step in her mission to become the greatest of all time. And she didn't just enter the professional world, she conquered it. Claressa Shields has remained undefeated as a professional, notching wins against world champions and top contenders across multiple weight classes. She's the only boxer in history, male or female, to hold all 4 major titles, WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, simultaneously in 2 different weight divisions. That's not just success, that's dominance. She became the undisputed middleweight champion, then the undisputed light middleweight champion, all while maintaining her unbeaten record. Each title, each belt, each victory came with its own story of sacrifice and grit. Long hours in the gym, strict diets, mental battles, and the pressure of representing something bigger than herself. What sets Claressa apart isn't just the number of wins, it's how she wins. She's fast, she's smart. She controls the ring with the confidence of someone who's not just fighting for herself, but for a legacy. A legacy built on breaking barriers, defying expectations, and showing the world that a woman can not only compete, but dominate on any stage. When Claressa Shields steps into the ring, she carries more than gloves and ambition. She carries history. And with every undefeated round, she's reminding us all, this isn't luck. This is greatness. Breaking barriers for women in boxing before Claressa Shields, women's boxing often lived in the shadows, undervalued, underfunded, and underrepresented. But Claressa didn't just want to win titles. She wanted to transform the sport. And that's exactly what she did. From the moment she stepped into the ring, Claressa fought a battle on 2 fronts, one against her opponents, and another against the system that often overlooked women fighters. She spoke up when others stayed quiet. She demanded equal treatment, equal pay, and equal spotlight. Not just for herself, but for every woman who ever dared to lace up gloves. In 2012, she became the first American woman to win an Olympic gold medal in boxing, a milestone that helped elevate the sport's visibility. But even with that historic victory, the journey to equality was far from over. Claressa constantly had to prove herself, not only as an elite boxer, but as a worthy headliner, fighting for the recognition her male counterparts often received without question. She made history again in 2021 when she headlined a pay-per-view boxing event, a rare feat for a woman in the sport. She promoted the event herself, took financial risks, and sent a clear message: women belong at the top of the card. Claressa also crossed into MMA, proving that women can dominate across disciplines, breaking yet another boundary that once seemed off-limits. Beyond the ring, she continues to speak out on issues of gender equality, race, and opportunity, using her platform to lift others as she rises. She's opened doors for future generations, ensuring that young girls watching today don't have to ask if they belong in boxing, but when they'll take their shot. Claressa Shields didn't just break barriers, she shattered them. And with every punch, she's still building a path for others to follow.